Well, it's back to school time, and as kids are going back to school, probably there's a collective sigh and maybe a loud hooray from the parents. My kids are going back. I can live a normal life again. I can breathe a little freer. I wore one of my boys his baseball jersey from our local school, and kind of set the tone. I enjoy back to school time. It's funny, back to school is almost like a New Year's Day. I can start having a new life again and a different kind of life. As our kids go back to school, as a pastor in having taught in public education, drove buses and did a bunch of different stuff, my heart is towards our school districts because they're becoming sometimes not better places, they're becoming harder places. Harder places for our kids to live for Jesus Christ, but harder because it seems like the world creeps in more and more in disastrous ways. And we have to be very careful and take a proactive stance. Sometimes we need to be involved. Many times we need to be involved in what our school district's doing, just so we can make sure that the values of the local school reflects our own. Here in Poen, I'm proud to say that the values in our school district does reflect my own, but that's not always the case. And sometimes you have some very bad things happen, and you never would have dreamed of it. The first time I'd ever heard of a school shooting was probably one of the very first I'd ever heard of, was before Columbine, was a place called Pearl, Mississippi. And at Pearl, Mississippi, if you've ever been there, Pearl, kind of right off of I-20 on the east side of Jackson, heading out towards Meridian in Tennessee, is your little bitty town. Probably like most of us, it would not attract a lot of attention. Yet there was a boy by the name of Luke on October the 1st, 1997. Luke Woodham started that day by beating and stabbing his mother to death that October day, 1997. And he would go out to his local school, and it would make national news. It would become a great atrocity, pulling out guns and a knife, and killed a couple people, injured several more, and it turned out to be a very, very dark day for our nation's school districts, just because it opened our eyes to what could actually happen, to what could actually take place. By the time Columbine took place in Colorado, there had already been other mass murder venues like that. And today, the unfortunate thing is we don't get to see, we don't hear that much about school violence like that anymore, simply because it's so common, unfortunately. There's school shootings, then you have school incidences where a tornado hits or a flood. Some years back there was a flood where students actually drowned because it was more of a basement setting and they couldn't get out of it. And one of the things that we can do as we live the Christ life, I'm not just a pastor in my community, I'm a parent. I'm a parent of 3 kids. My oldest graduates this year. As a parent of 3 kids in my local school district, I want to be a part of what takes place on my school district. I want to make a difference. And so I pray. It's not a matter of that's all you can do. That's probably one of the best things I could do is pray. And I don't know what you could do at your school district. There will be in September, they'll have See You at the Pole. But I want to encourage you, before you ever even get to that point, as you get to back to school time, and it's good to have your students come to the front and you pray over them. But it's also good to go to the school and get permission from the school to walk through there and just touch the lockers. You don't have to rub anointing oil all over the place to where it creates a mess. Please don't do that. But you can walk through your school or walk around the campus. In many places, it's not illegal. It's actually, you'd have several that would want you to do it. And just walk around and pray. and ask God to cover it with His grace, with His mercy, with His protection. And I want to encourage you with this. As you walk Christ's life, and in this manner, some of you that are watching are students going back to school, or you want to pray over your school. I want to read to you the priestly blessing. It comes out of Numbers chapter 6, starting in verse number 22, where it says, "And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to Aaron and his sons, saying, This is the way that you should bless the children of Israel." And I want to stop right there for just a second and change that. And instead of just saying the children of Israel, this is a blessing I need to speak over the children of Poe and Arkansas. This is the blessing you need to speak over the children of your area. And this would not be a bad thing as you're driving, even as you're driving to work, driving to different places. Sometimes you'll pass through a school zone. Become one of those people that when you pass through a school zone, you don't get mad because the speed limit drops. Use it as a time to start praying and asking God to bless that school. And pray this blessing. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make His face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up His countenance upon you, and may He give you peace. So that they shall put my name on the children of Poe and Arkansas, and I will bless them. Speak this blessing over your local school. Speak this kind of a blessing over your kids as they go back to school. Because I don't know about you, I don't want to have to hear about another school shooting. I don't want to have to hear about another death. They will happen. They will happen because unfortunately we live in a fallen world full of fallen people. And there's going to be these sort of things that as we start school right now and before graduation takes place next year, there's going to be some incidences that have happened. But maybe it doesn't have to happen at my place because me and maybe some others took a stand and said, we claim this for Jesus Christ. And we're going to pray a blessing over our kids that as they go back to school, they're going to be safe. So as you start your week, and as you're starting school, let me encourage you with this thought. As you go back into it boldly. Go back into it saying, Lord, here am I, use me. Go back into it saying, God, I claim this area for you, that your peace and your protection is here. Because they may try to outlaw prayer in school, but as long as there's tests, as long as there's quizzes, as long as there's bullying and a bad environment, you can't get rid of prayer in school. As long as you're there, prayer will remain. And you have every right to go into that place, not just push your beliefs off on people, not become a bully for Jesus Christ, but you can go into that place and say, Lord, I make my stand here, and I declare nothing bad is going to happen because you're here, because I'm here. God bless you. I pray that you have a great week tracking the Christ life, and I pray that those of you going back to school, parents getting rid of your kids all over again, sending them back to school, I pray that this becomes a time that you can make a difference in your local school for God's glory. God bless you.